18-year-old Natalie Holloway disappeared in Aruba on May 30th, 2005. Joran Vandersloot has been arrested twice, but never charged for the crime. And in 2006, Joran went on the record telling us he left Natalie on the beach. But then, in February '08, a hidden camera in Holland caught Joran saying that she passed out and he had disposed of her body. And now Joran says he sold Natalie for thousands of dollars to a man who wanted a blonde girl. Joran says Natalie was taken away onto a boat with this mystery man and that she did not struggle. Then says he was lying. Now, we spoke with Natalie Holloway's mother, Beth. What's sort of racing through your mind, your thoughts? I mean, we've obviously sort of dropped, a 10-pound balloon on your head. We don't know if it's true or it's not, but, I mean, we dragged you up here to New York, so you knew something was up. What are you thinking about?
Well, the main thing I go back to, I think about Joran in the car with Patrick. I mean, I can't, it's hard for me to discount that. So I feel like I'm trying to balance both, okay? So he's got two latest scenarios within '08, basically. They're coming out in '08. He's got, still, like you said, keeping a lot of the elements are the same, a lot of the elements of the story are the same, just changing, he just keeps changing some of the, now he's saying, she's alive versus, not alive. It's a transaction versus, a panic mode, because this was all evidently well thought out, planned, executed. I mean, he had to line it up. He had to grab a girl. I don't think it was Natalie in particular. I think he just, whoever he could get. I think that's how it went down. Natalie, I think, just happened to be the one he happened to get. Not that she was sought out, picked out. I don't think that. I think he just got one. But so it's changing quite a bit of elements from fully executed and planned to an accident. So it's just hard. It's just hard with him because he can go off in some different directions pretty quickly. But then it's hard to deny that conversation with his father. And it was definitely a tight window. I know that. I know he had a tight window of that night, of what he said he did. And if you have an accident, it sure is hard to think that quick on your feet. In an hour and 20 minutes. What do you have, an hour and 20 minutes?
Not much time.
So it's pretty hard to think that quick on your feet in a panic mode. You can think that quick on your feet if you have something fully planned.
Is this what you expected when I told you to come up here? What do you expect?
What did I expect? I just wait until it unfolds. I just, I try not to go there anymore. Just wait until I hear it, because, you just gotta think. I just want to be so careful and not, before we make a move, because, you're the one who taught me. And once you go down a road, once you knock down that wall, you can't go back. So I realize every step that's made, we can't turn around and go back.
Do you think she's alive?
I don't. I'd love to be proven wrong, but no, I don't.
Coming up, Joran Vandersloot says the first person he told about selling Natalie Holloway was his teacher, a teacher he was close with. Is that the real story? We search for Joran's teacher. That's next. Joran says the first person he confided about selling Natalie was one of his high school teachers. Joran says he and the teacher were close, and the teacher told him to tell the truth. We promised you we will keep investigating, so we flew across America and tracked down one of Joran's teachers. Steve, first of all, I guess there's no secret that we sort of just showed up on your doorstep.
Yes.
And you're being a good sport about this. You know Joran Vandersloot?
Yes.
How did you meet him?
I had him in class at the International School of Aruba.
How long did you teach there?
I taught there for 2 years, and I had him for 1 year as a student.
But now, the 2 years that you taught there, was that his junior and senior year, or would that be his senior year and then the year since?
His senior year, and then the first year he was in college.
I take it you've heard about Natalie Holloway.
Yeah.
When did you first hear Natalie disappeared?
Either Monday after school or Tuesday at school. I can't remember if it was Monday after school or if it was Tuesday at school. I'm not sure.
When was the first time you saw Joran after hearing that information?
I don't remember if it was at school on Tuesday, but either Tuesday or Wednesday after school at a health club. Was the first time I spoke with him.
Did he come over to you, or did you call him over, or did he call you over?
He came over and spoke with me. I was exercising at the time, and he came into the room and came over and told me what had happened.
How do you characterize your relationship at that point? Were you a teacher who was close to him leading up to that, or just he was just one of 9 or 10 students?
No, I mean, we got along well. I would say in the class I got along well with all of the seniors. It was a pretty close-knit group. When
he told you what happened, what, to the best of your recollection, I realize it's been 3 years, but what do you remember he told you when you talked to him in the tennis club?
He told me a similar story to the one that he originally told the authorities, and that was that he left Carlos and Charlie's with the Calpos and Natalie, and that they went to, as he said, see the sharks, that she wanted to see the sharks, and that he later dropped her off at her hotel.
And that was the sum total? There was never any discussion about drugs, alcohol, anything like that?
Not to my recollection. I mean, he might have said something that she was drunk or that she'd been drinking. I mean, nothing that really stuck in my mind.
Did you know who the Calpos were?
No, never knew who they were.
Do you remember if he used their names?
You know, I think he might have said their friends. Of course, it came up in the news right away, so we knew who they were by virtue of the media, but I had never come across them before.
Have you ever met the Calpos?
No.
Did he ever mention anything about selling her?
No.
And is that something that would probably stand out in your mind?
Oh, yeah, and it's something that I probably would have mentioned to other people, you know, around that time. Friends of mine that I worked with, we were talking about the story. We were following it on the news. I mean, we couldn't get away from it.
Between the time that he was arrested on June 9th, his graduation day, and March, when I came to Aruba and had an interview with Joran and met you for the first time, did you have any communication with Joran at all?
Not that I can recall, and I'm not even sure if, because he was a graduating senior, they took their finals early, if they were even in school that second week during the investigation, so I don't even know if I saw him.
Was there talk at all at the school? Have you ever heard any talk anywhere, including any rumors about Natalie being sold? Has that ever crossed your radar screen?
No. No one. I mean, we basically followed the story through the media. Most of our information, we didn't know anything that the media already knew or was telling us, so we didn't know anything unique.
So people weren't sort of, there wasn't, you didn't have your ear to the ground and hear different things about it?
Well, we went home for the summer right after his arrest. We left, I think, 3 days later, so I followed the story through your coverage.
And then you went back in the fall?
And then we went back in the fall, and within, I don't know, a few weeks after our return, he was released, and then went over to Holland to go to school. And at that point, the story kind of slowed down, you know. There were moments when it came back up again in the media, but we didn't talk about it really.
So his statement to us that he told you in the days after Natalie disappeared that he sold Natalie, that's a lie?
That's a conversation that I don't recall ever having with him. And whether it's a lie or he's associating me with somebody else that he had that conversation with, I don't know. I can't speak for Joran. But I never had that conversation with him.
Now the catch. Could it have been a different teacher who Joran confided in? And Joran tried to throw us off by pointing us to this teacher. Well, we have brand new information that it could be a different teacher. We will have that information for you on Monday. And still ahead, what does the Aruban prosecutor Hans Moss say about what we have uncovered? We offered to fly to meet him to show him the tape. Does he think this tape is important and worth investigating? And what is next in the investigation? Stick around. More than 3 years after 18-year-old Natalie Holloway disappeared from Aruba, we have brand new information. Joran Vandersloot, one of the last people spotted with Natalie Holloway on May 30, 2005, has come forward saying he sold Natalie for about $10,000. Joran says he took the cash and walked Natalie onto a mystery man's boat. We offered to meet with the Aruban prosecutor Hans Moss to show him the tapes of Joran's latest interview with us before we aired it. But the prosecutor declined our offer and said he does not feel that the contents of the tape has any value as evidence. But we urge Holland and the Aruban authorities to look into this latest information. Could Natalie Holloway still be alive? Could she really be in Venezuela? If there is even the smallest possibility, we urge the Aruban authorities to investigate. Though Joran told us by email 8 hours after our interview in Thailand that he was lying, we don't know if he was lying or telling the truth and later got cold feet. We do know there are significant clues the Aruban prosecutor can and should follow up upon. If Aruba, with its subpoena and police power, refuses to investigate, we'll do our best to keep investigating. Thank you for being with us tonight. Good night.